Welcome to part 7 of the series, How to Help Your Kid Master Addition and Subtraction of Fractions the First Time. In this video, we're going to be talking about regrouping or borrowing to subtract fractions. And when we say regroup, that means that we are going to take a number and rewrite it as an equivalent value or rename it instead of borrow. Because when we say borrow, it makes kids think that we are going to reduce the value of it or come up with the value that's smaller. So we're going to use the term regroup or rename throughout the rest of this video. Tyler made a goal to run 3 1/4 miles on Saturday and Sunday. If he ran 3/4 of a mile on Saturday, how much farther does he need to run on Sunday to meet his goal? This is a problem that you have seen before in part 6, and if you have not, go ahead and check that out, where we only subtracted 3/4 from the whole number, which was 3. In this one, we added on that fourth because we want kids to use that intuition to determine the solution of this problem because they've solved it already by just using a whole number. So we really want them to see how the answer would change and really use that intuition to discover what is different and what is the same about subtracting from the whole number 3 and subtracting from the mixed number 3 and the fourth. So we've have them to start out and do the same thing. We start and make 3 whole miles and 1/4 of another mile. And they should notice that that is for sure different. But then they want to subtract 3/4 of a mile, and they only have 1/4 of a mile here based on the model that is drawn. This would be the perfect time to ask the question, how can you subtract 3/4 and you only have 1/4? What are some things that you could do? And you want the students to follow their intuition here. And so they will have to take a mile and partition it into fourths. And then when they get that mile partitioned into fourths, then they should have enough fourths there where they can subtract 3/4. Now is the perfect time to discuss what the kids notice. They should notice that 3 1/4 is still represented here. They still have 3 1/4 miles. 2 miles and 5/4 is the same as 3 miles, 1/4. 1 mile has just been rewritten so that they can subtract those 3/4 from it. And so when they do their subtraction, they should see that they have now 2 miles and 2/4 of another mile that should be run on Sunday. Now, students will take that knowledge that they've gained from modeling this to the expression where they do it numerically. And so instead of using 3 wholes, they would use 2 and 4/4. So 2 plus 4/4, and they would rename that, and not forgetting that they have 1/4 of a mile that is there too. So 2 4/4, 1/4. 2 plus 4/4 plus 1/4 is equivalent to 3 1/4. It's just written in a friendlier form where the kids can do the subtraction easier. Instead of writing 3 1/4 minus 3/4, they rewrite it in that friendly form as 2 4/4 plus 1/4 minus the 3/4. And so just as they did with their model, they take the 3/4 minus the 4/4, and what was left was 2 1/4 plus the 1/4 that is there, and so they get 2 2/4 miles. Some students may combine the fourths and think of this as 2 5/4, so renaming these fourths into an improper fraction. And this will help them when they begin to show their work using the expression to rename 3 1/4. So they'll end up with 3 1/4 as 2 5/4 minus 3/4, and they get the same result as 2 2/4. You can have the students to think back to their solution from when they subtracted 3 minus 3/4 and 3 1/4 minus 3/4, and discuss the differences in those solutions to make sure that they really get the goal of this lesson. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to get your copy of Fractions Made Easy, a helpful resource that provides a list of support videos with pictorial representations to help you get your kids to where you want them to be.